Jeff? It's filler time. Don't deny my filler time. Miller time and filler time. No cue sheet. This is for Dana. Who's lighting the candles?
Aaron is like.
Why don't you have Dana do it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey. Sorry, I had to give you the wrong. You can come up and you can do Robbie, you can drink. I think it's grape juice. I'll tell you when. You're good.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We begin on page 142, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moachem L'Shalom, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. We read on page 124. We're going to turn to page 120, and I invite up Dana Frost to light our Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat.
And for those who are able, we rise together for Kiddush 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu, b'shambat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'asei v'reishit, ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש Hashamat.
Please be seated. We turn to page 127. The bottom of page 127. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We turn to page 130, Psalm 95.
Lechu neranen al Adonai, nariya, litzur yisheinu. Lechu neranen al Adonai, nariya, litzur Yisheinu nekadma fanav bethoda bizmirot nariyalo ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim asher beyado mechkerei haaretz v'toafot harim lo asher lo hayam v'hu asahu v'yabesh et yadav yatsaru ki hu Eloheinu v'anachnu Amarito v'tzoniado. Join me on 138, the pinnacle of Kabbalat Shabbat, Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shambat. Nekabela yadai yadai lecha Dodi likat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shambat. Nekabela shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Ishmi'anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem ultiferet v'litila Lechan Dodi likat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shambat Nekabela yadai yadai lechan Dodi likat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shambat Nekabela likrat Shambat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machasham b'techila lechan Dodi likat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shambat nekabela yadai yadai lechan Dodi likat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shambat nekabela hitoreri hitoreri ki ba'orech umi ori uri uri shir daberi kembod Adonai alayich nigla lechan Dodi likat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shambat nekabela yadai yadai lechan Dodi likat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shambat nekabela.
We rise together to greet Shabbat HaMelkah.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'b'tzola toch emunei am segula boi chala
lechandon dilikat kalai yaradai 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 pene shambat nekabelai yaidai dai lechandon dilikat kalai yaradai 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 pene shambat nekabelai.
The bottom page 145. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There's no place on earth without the presence. We stay right here, Chetzi Kaddish 144.
יתקדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל מלאכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן מעלמה ואמרו אמן.
We rise together 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai. Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai dai. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam ba'ed le'olam ba'ed yada dai 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 yada dai dai dai.
We continue together the bottom of page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim on the next page.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח מחוקיך, ונשמח מדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם בלילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד, שם כבוד, מלכותו לעולם, לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We continue the bottom of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages. Your vision of a world redeemed, let us continue to work for the day where the nations will be at one and at peace. Then shall rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Our Sing of Freedom, our Mi Chamocha 158.
Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha nedar b'kodesh, no Torah tehilot Osef ele Ichamocha ba'elim Adonai Malchutecha ra'u banecha Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Ze'eli anu ve'amru Adonai meloch le'olam le'olam ba'ed.
The top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Our Hashkivenu is right here, 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
The top of page 163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Vishamru 162.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat, Et HaShabbat, Lasot Et HaShabbat, Lidorotam Berit Olam, Beini uvein Bnei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, Beini uvein Bnei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת וינפש.
The middle of page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. And for those who are able, we rise together for our tefillah on the next page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם וזרעת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם, אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה, רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue with our Ritzei on the next page.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatam me'ahava tekabel u'tehil leratzon tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha El karov lechol ורעב פני אל עבדיך מכוננו שפוך רוחך עלינו ותחזינה עינינו משובך לציון מרחמים ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון לציון.
The top of page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. Make contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. We say right here, 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol ha-shalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol ha-shalom. Metov meinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a few moments for private prayer. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, Adonai tzuri v'goali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you. O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru, Amen.
At this moment in our service, we think of those in our community, those especially who are in need of healing of body or spirit. Jeremy Applebaum, Sophia Barry, Orit Cohen, Faye Denny, Jerry Fields, Joseph Fleming, Tom Fleming, Marilyn Leeds, Tim Maiden, Richard Magnati, Michal Mizerowitz, Paul Mosteller, Stephen Muss, Ron Ostreicher, Malka Bath Rachel, Bob Renault, Jerry Sklar, Alan Unger, and Brenda Weinstein. For those who are with us tonight, if you're thinking of a loved one or friend, someone who's in need of healing their body and spirit, and you wish to share that name out loud, will you either by standing or as my eyes meet yours? Go ahead, Letty. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts from Mishabera, our prayer for healing, middle of page 371.
Mishaberach avoteinu mekor habracha le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishem beirach imoteinu, mekor habracha la'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
It's such a perfect Torah portion for tonight, Parshat Yitro. It's when we receive Torah at Sinai, it's the Ten Commandments, but it's when we go back to that Sinai moment that means so much to us as Am Yisrael, the Jewish people. And for those who are new to Temple Emanu-El, and for those who don't know, and for those who do know, I don't like the word conversion. It's too medieval and dogmatic. I prefer the more Hasidic, mystical interpretation of when one chooses to become Judaism later in life, that their Jewish neshama, their Jewish soul is returned to them. So the teaching is that when all of us were at Sinai together, all of the world, we received Torah, but some people, some of their neshamas went to other religious traditions. And finally, once that neshama returns back to this individual, one's return back to Judaism is complete. And it's such a perfect Torah portion for us to welcome Dana Frost to the Bima. When we meet our returnees, these are extraordinary people. The amount of knowledge they come with, the amount of intellectual curiosities that permeate within them, and the eagerness, it's their tenacious spirit that wants to pounce on our tradition. Being a cantor, being a rabbi, there's many aspects of the job that are operational, that are difficult. But one of the greatest joy is when someone comes to us and says that we want to replenish the Jewish people. And during our most darkest hours since the Shoah, the ranks of our people are being fortified because of people like Dana Frost. And I ask the congregation to rise as we take her before the ark. In the official priestly blessing, she's already converted. This is just the ceremonial mark of her entrance to Temple Emanu-El, a place where she has finally found her spiritual home, a place that intellectually and spiritually welcomes her and her family. Hazaka Baruch. Let's go before the ark.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and forever protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face shine upon you and forever be gracious to you.
Isa Adonai panav elecha me'asem lecha Shalom. Shalom.
You served our country and the United States military, and now you serve the Jewish people to reinforce our peoplehood and to celebrate all of our simchas. And whenever you face any adversity in life, may God's face forever lift you up and forever bring you peace. Can you hear that song? May it be God's will. Mazel tov.
Mazal tov.
Please be seated. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I want to go back in time during World War II. And there's a great sense of pride, which we hear often, that generation of Jews who fought for this country during World War II, nearly 500,000 Jews proudly fought for this country. Whether they were going to the Pacific Theater, and especially if they were going to the European theater to fight against the Nazis, because the overall majority of American Jews knew what was at stake for the Jewish people and were very aware of what the Nazis were doing to the Jewish people. And at the same time, many in the United States military, those World War II vets, they did not exactly know the crimes that the Nazis were doing. Many of them understood the war as a fight against Hitler and fascism, and therefore entered the war to stop German power. And this idea as to why we fight during World War II, it was in the second to last episode of the critically acclaimed Band of Brothers. And the reason why this episode is so important for where we are today, during this episode, nearly 250,000 German soldiers surrendered, making them POWs. And our GIs were astonished that these German soldiers were still marching proudly for their country. And this shocked American GIs, and this shocked American GIs not in the episode, in real life. How could they proudly march? Europe has been destroyed. They lost, but they're still marching proudly. And Captain Nixon, one of the characters, was screaming at them, "Why are we here? Why did we have to come here and fight?" As this proud airborne division, they enter through the south, through Bavaria. And one of the patrols came across Landsberg, which is in Bavaria. And they came across an abandoned camp called Kaufering. And what they saw was the most terrifying thing that these American soldiers ever laid their eyes on. Immediately, they went to their commanding officers who went to this camp, had no idea why they were there. They were sick, they were emaciated, they lacked housing, and were treated like animals. It was only a matter of time until the American forces figured out what had happened. Like any good vet, then, they immediately started to give rations, food, to these emaciated Jews, homosexuals, gypsies. But the hardest part is when Joseph Legoat, a real person in real life, a Catholic, who was fluent in German, the army surgeons told him that he had to publicly say, "Stop feeding the prisoners." And for those who are physicians, the reason why they had to give that order to stop eating is because they would eat themselves to death, because that's how emaciated they were. And in the scene, it's depicting a Legoat who was crying. But he knew this was the right thing to do. And in the second to last episode of Band of Brothers, they accurately depict your average Germans who claimed that they didn't know what was going on. They marched them into the camps to begin cleaning up, either by burying bodies or serving. And sooner or later, once they realizes that the amount of camps that are like this throughout Europe, those Germans went to every single camp in Germany as part of the denazification process to see what they allowed to happen. but it's that image. And if you ever ask a World War II soldier, those who freed the camps, those images, haunting them forever. And last Saturday, in Gaza, we saw our coffering. We saw all of the concentration camps come to life. And now I guess this is the third rail of comparing the Holocaust to October 7th with the release of Eli Sharabi or Levi and Ohad Ben-Ami. They looked like they just got out of Kaufering or Auschwitz. How emaciated they were. In addition to that, or Levi and Eli Sharabi, Hamas kept on telling them that they would see their family soon, knowing that their children and wives were murdered on October 7th. For the past year and a half, this war has been a perpetual state of mourning and uncertainty, but going like this. The pure joys of the release of the hostages. And we saw this joy with the women at Nahal Oz coming back and their resilience to live life again, and their advocacy for the hostages is truly remarkable. But late last summer, when we learned about the murder of Hersh Goldberg Poland and the 6 hostages, this moment utterly crippled Israel. It crippled us too. We had a joint prayer gathering with Temple Bethel because these murders had such a horrible impact on us. And now we see Jews who are treated exactly like the Jews in the Holocaust, in the Shoah. An image, frankly, that we thought we'd never see again, of emaciated Jews being sent to the slaughterhouse nearly to survive. For these 15 months, it's been a season of expressions. I'm wearing one of them right now. I got this in Hachette Square. It's Bring Them Home. The sanctuary is filled with yellow ribbons. Again, bring them home. We also heard Never Again is Now to speak to the rise of the most grotesque anti-Semitism since the Holocaust. Again, Never Again is Now. But when we really think about it, what we saw last week, it's not never again is now, it's that never again is again. And I want to repeat that again. Never again is again. Because I am so highly confident that these images will be a central theme for the majority of rabbis throughout the world. And here we are at Sinai, a Torah portion that speaks to our proud ownership of the Torah to live a life rooted in ritual, in simchas, in study, in fellowship, and mitzvot. But alas, we are supposed to celebrate the Sinai moment knowing that never again is again. And if we truly had a cheshbon hanefesh, a true, honest conversation with ourselves, never again is again did not start a week ago. It didn't start this past year with the rise of anti-Semitism on college campuses and the streets. It didn't start on October 7th, that never again is again. but nearly a decade of warning signs of physical assaults to the murdering of Jews in Western democratic countries. 19 years ago in France, we had the murder and kidnapping of Ilan Halimi, crickets from the Jewish community. In 2015, a huge terrorist attack against Jews once again in Paris. Shuls had to close down for the first time since the Holocaust in Paris. Again, crickets from Jewry. The murder of Sarah Palimi, once again in Paris. Jersey City, Muncie, New York, with the murder of Yosef Newman. May and June of 2022, we saw an uptick of 500 to 1,000%. And the continual and nonstop attacks against the Orthodox community, especially in Brooklyn. Never again is again. And now, the Jewish world is shaking just like we did at Revelation because of the images we saw. But before that, we went on our lives. We ignored the screams of our people, and now we are finally shaking. And tomorrow, we will be shaking once more because knowing whether 3 will be released or 9 will be released. And this is what's going to crush us at our core because these images will forever be in our minds. So here's the question I want us to ask. Just like in Band and Brothers, what do you want to fight for? And for me, as your rabbi, we need to get through this. And God willing, one day we can take down these yellow ribbons. I can stop wearing this bracelet. We can return to normalcy where we can take pride in the ownership of Torah, to live that life rooted in rituals and simcha and study, fellowship meets vote. Where the majority of our drashot, our sermons, challenge us spiritually to think about how we can be better people and to remind us of the joys of Judaism. And I want to share this with you. This is from our parasha. This is about Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, when he accepted the God of Israel. Although Jethro was not a Jew, our tradition teaches us he once served in the Pharaoh's court. But when he saw the revelation of Torah at his own eyes, he was truly grateful and happy for Israel's good fortune to come. And in the Hebrew, vayachad, rejoiced. It's of Aramaic origin. And our rabbi tells us, for this happiness was so great that he could tangibly feel the goodness, the kindness, the joy of Torah. It's the same feeling when we find out something good is about to happen in our lives. It's the same feeling when we saw the images of those families being so happy that their loved ones were returning home, or when we found out we're going to be grandparents or parents, or we're going to be reunited with friends or being together. It's that physical, it's that tangibility form of happiness. That's what the Jews experienced, and that's what Jethro felt at that revelation moment. And for the love of God, the reason why I'm fighting for this congregation and the Jewish people is because I want our people to go back to that feeling of a tangible Jewish happiness. We can't ignore what's about to happen. As I've been saying the past couple weeks after my return back to Israel, walking through the grounds of Nova, Nochal Oz, Kibbutz Benara, I remember talking to Una. Her story was in the New York Times, and she said to us, hold our hands, join us. This is what Tikkun Olam needs to be. We're not supposed to have emaciated Jews in 2025 being sent to the slaughterhouse. I want us to take pride in our Jewishness. I don't want us giving an inch. I don't want diasporic Judaism once again falling on deaf ears to the cries of Israel and the greater junior world. The good news is, for the past couple of weeks, we've seen a major uptick in parents who are interested in sending their kids to Alexander Muss High School. Multiple congregants have come to be and said, when will the trip to Israel happen? People express a need to get Shinshanim, Israelis who graduate high school, to come here for a gap year and spend time with us. And finally, if we ask ourselves why we are going to fight for each other, because I want my kids, your grandchildren, the grandchildren of my grandchildren one day, I want them more than ever to have a Judaism that Jethro experienced that is tangibly incredible. And I will never stop working or fighting in order for us and for them to have the Judaism that they so desire. Shabbat Shalom. We rise together, Aleinu 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of Albert Eskenazi, Louis Hyman Berry, Lillian von Balen Black, Morris D. Blumenthal Sr., Ralph Brooke Rothbrook, Jenny Schiffens, Harry Cohen, Marks B. Cooper, Max Copeland, Daniel Cutter, Alan Denson, Cora Dorn, Gladys Evans, James Forrest Farguson, Stella Fetter, Sarah Fishman, Selma Virginia Goldstone, Lee Gotthelf, Morris William Green, Daniel Greenspan, Clarence Hagedorn, Alan Jack Hannon, Mary F. Harrell, Janet Cypress Harris, A. Chief Harris, Robert Lawrence Herzberg, Bernard Holzer, Rose Jacobson, Susie Jaffe, Bertha Kern, Magda Beckman Cruz, Jack Ladinsky, Myrna Landau-Levine, Nathan Mayer Marcuse, Eva Margolin, V. Hugo Marks Jr., Bruce Mayer, Marjorie Abraham Mayer, Paula Michael, Ella K. Morris, Francis Munchkazang, Loretta Newfield, Mary Patrick, Patricia Patty R. Pizitz, Scott Richards, Arnold L. Roseman, Mitchell Rubenstein, Irene Russakoff, Albert Shanassi, Rose Schulman, Arthur Siegel, Linda Cohn Speaks, Molly Steinberg, Esther Swedlaw, Ray Wender, Hyman Yassim, and Louise Zide. Our heartfelt condolences of those who passed away in this Shloshim: Deborah Blair, Larry Hecht, Ken Seaton, and Rabbi Alvin Sugarman. May all of their memories forever be a blessing. If it is your custom to rise for a Mortar's Kaddish, we invite you to do so on page 598. Yikadal v'ikadash shemei rabbah, biyomad divrach chirotei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon of yom echon, uv'chayed kol beit Yisrael, b'agalah izman kariv v'yamru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam alamei al-mayab. Yiparach v'hish shabach hipa'ar hitramam hitnaseh v'tadar v'talev v'talal shemei d'kudsha
Richu.
le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushechata v'nechemata damin ram v'yomah v'yamru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yamru.
Amen.
Osei shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yamru.
Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael me'imeru. Amen.
Before we conclude with Haktikva, we want to say Mazel Tov to Dana Frost, and just a few announcements. The board likes when I do this. Tomorrow we have Torah study at 10, followed by our Shabbat hike. We will meet at the gardens, okay, at 10 o'clock. Next week, we have our family Shabbat service in 4th grade, and on Saturday, we have our wonderful Love, Pray, Eat. And following tonight's Shabbat service, we're starting a new thing. Tell us what you think. We're putting the oneg on this floor. I'm trying something new. It's okay. It'll be, I don't even know how to describe it.
Out the door to the left.
Out the door to the left in that beautiful area by the windows. We can see light. Let's pray for hope.
נפש יהודי הומיה ולפתי מזרח קדימה עין לציון סופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו התקמה בת שנות 2000 אותם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון בירושלים. להיותם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון בירושלים.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.